Hey guys, what's up? Hope everyone's having a great day. So I have been meaning to do this video for so long. I apologize. I have been completely focused on other things. So I apologize that this is coming to you so late, but I figured better late than never, right? So today we're talking about what was uncovered within the unsealing of the Depp v. Heard documents when it comes to the UK trial and how Justice Nicol came to his, idea that certain allegations that Amber made with SA were false and other ones were true. So within her confidential annex, we weren't allowed to see anything confidential when it came to the UK. Fine, great. But if it came out, so I don't know why she fought so hard for it to be confidential, because here it is. And let me tell you, it doesn't make any sense. It's like he's throwing shit at the wall and just hoping something will stick and hoping no one will notice that he contradicts himself in every way, shape, or form. So we're going to take a look at his judgment on it. And we're also then going to take a look at what was brought forward for the appeal, what they had to say about the judgment, what he said in the judgment in the appeal for the UK trial. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this is the confidential annex for the UK trial between Depp and Heard. So this is what Justice Nicol had to say for himself. Certain parts of the RAD were set out in a confidential annex. Likewise, the claimant responded to these in a confidential part of the RAR. As I explained in the main judgment, I agreed that evidence regarding these matters could be given in private. That is what occurred. I deal with these matters in this annex to the principal judgment, which will remain confidential to the parties absent of any further order of the court. Before the private hearing began, an issue was raised as to whether Adam Waldman, one of the claimant's American lawyers, could remain in court. I ruled that only the lawyers instructed for the present proceedings could remain. That did not include Mr. Waldman, who, accordingly, was excluded. Okay, so this is Incident 3. This is Hicksville. This is what came of that. Paragraph 2 of the confidential annex to the RAD pleads. During the incident referred to at para 8A2A of the RAD, Hicksville, the claimant accused Ms. Heard of hiding his drugs from him without Ms. Heard's consent. He ripped off her dress, grabbed her, and forced his hand inside of her in a forceful cavity search for the drugs causing her pain. Paragraph 2 to the confidential annex to the RAR denies the allegation. Mr. Depp repeats his denial in the confidential annex to his third witness statement made on 25th of February 2020. In cross-examination, Mr. Depp repeated his denial of this assault against Ms. Heard in Hicksville. In his confidential annex to her first witness statement made on December 15th, 2019, Ms. Heard said that there were a number of incidents of SV over the course of her relationship with Mr. Depp. She says that it's extremely upsetting and difficult to revisit these matters. She refers specifically to one aspect of Incident 8 in Australia. She does not specifically refer to the aspect of Incident 3 in Hicksville. There was a confidential schedule to her third witness statement made on February 26, 2020. Ms. Heard said that she had been asked to address an incident in Hicksville as part of my reply evidence. In this witness statement, she did say that, as part of the Hicksville incident, the cavity search took place. She said at paragraph 3 of this schedule, I now understand this to be a form of SA. Over the years, Johnny forcefully me like this on several occasions to assert himself, demonstrate his power over me, and attempt to dominate and shame me. This was the first time I remember it happening. It is notable that this evidence from Ms. Heard did not emerge until February 2020. And then, as part of her reply evidence, I also find it hard to believe that Ms. Heard did not at the time appreciate that this was a form of SA. I also note that Ms. Sexton did not say that Ms. Heard reported to her that she had been SA'd at Hicksville. This is more striking given that A, Ms. Sexton had been present at Hicksville, B, that Ms. Sexton was a confidant of Ms. Heard, and a person whom Ms. Heard did report another SA by Mr. Depp in Australia. I conclude that the defendants have not shown that Mr. Depp SA'd Ms. Heard at Hicksville by subjecting her to a forcible and painful cavity search. Now, pin Ms. Sexton. Pin that one, because Justice Nicol did not believe that Hicksville happened, so we're on the right track, but then it goes downhill. Incident 8, Australia, March 2015. Paragraph 3 of the confidential annex to the RAD pleads. During the incident referred to in paragraph 8A10 of the RAD, the claimant inserted a bottle into Miss Heard without her consent and thrust it repeatedly and hard while screaming that he was going to and taunting her. Miss Heard cried and pleaded with the claimant to stop and suffered injury and severe pain. Paragraph 3 of the RAR denies the allegation, which is said to have been fabricated by Miss Heard. In a confidential annex to her first statement, Miss Heard supported the allegation in the confidential annex to the RAD. She concluded by saying, "I couldn't even think of having sex for a long time after this incident. It is one of the most painful and traumatic events of my life, and the one I have difficulty speaking about. I have never discussed this publicly, whenever in the context of DV, restraining order, or otherwise, and I would be grateful if this aspect of my evidence can be protected. Yet you have difficulty talking about it because you can't keep it straight." Anywho. In a confidential schedule to her witness statement, Ms. Sexton said that in late May 2016, and afterwards, Miss Heard began to tell me more of the details about what had been going on in her relationship, including what had happened when they were in Australia. Miss Sexton says that in paragraph 3 of the schedule. At the time, she told me that he had attacked her with bottles. Since then, we have been talking more about her experiences. I have tried to give her a safe space where she can talk about it and process what has happened to her. It was during one of these conversations this year, 2019, that Amber told me that Johnny had, in fact, forced a bottle inside of her during this incident in Australia. I told her, "Amber, that's R." She was crying as she discussed it, and she said, "I know, but I guess I didn't realize it then that way or consider it in that way. There was just so much violence. I remember talking to her about it and discussing how it is easier to realize that things are wrong when they are happening to someone else." Mr. Depp, in a confidential annex to his trial statement, repeats his denial of this occurrence. He notes that Miss Heard claimed it happened on the night of the 8th of March of 2015, but says that would be impossible since he was in the hospital. In the private part of the trial, Mr. Depp repeated his denial that he forced a bottle into Miss Heard. He also denied that he had accused her of having sex with Billy Bob Thornton. Miss Sexton said that Miss Heard had talked about the sexual assault in Australia in August of 2019, before Miss Sexton's first deposition in the Virginia libel proceedings on August 30th, 2019. Miss Sexton had moved to Australia herself in about 2017, and she had then ceased to have a professional relationship with Miss Heard as her acting coach, but she had continued to meet Miss Heard socially, and on 3 to 4 occasions they had face-to-face meetings. It was during these that Miss Heard spoke of the SA aspect of the assaults in Australia. Miss Sexton was asked if she knew that the sexual aspect of Miss Heard's allegations was false. Miss Sexton said that she believed them to be true. Yeah, for somebody else. When Miss Heard related them, she was crying, she was speaking in chopped sentences. Miss Sexton had no reason to believe the allegations to be false. Well then, you're a great acting coach, Miss Sexton. I accept this part of Miss Heard's account. She first mentioned it 3 years after the event, but it is not unusual for there to be a delay before allegations of SA are made. Unlike the Hicksville incident, Miss Heard did disclose to Miss Sexton that she had been assaulted in Australia. Mr. Depp's rage at Miss Heard did not have a sexual dimension since, contrary to his evidence, I find that he did believe that she and Billy Bob Thornton had an affair. Mr. Depp admitted that Mr. Thornton's name was part of the graffiti which he painted on the mirror in the Queensland house. Miss Heard had then recently been filming London Fields with Billy Bob Thornton. Mr. Depp's jealousy of Miss Heard's supposed affairs with others, including her co-stars, is one of a piece of the attitudes on the other occasions. In the principal judgment, I accept the defendant's contention that in Australia, Mr. Depp drank to excess and was taking controlled drugs, including whitey stuff and MDMA. He committed a prodigious amount of damage to the Queensland's house. Taking all of this evidence together, I conclude that Mr. Depp did commit the SA alleged by the defendants as part of Incident 8. Mr. Depp is right that Miss Heard is wrong about the date of the incident. It could not have been March 8th because by then he was in the hospital being treated for his injury. However, her error in that detail does not cause me to disbelieve her account. Okay, oh my God. So because Miss Sexton was at Hicksville and she wasn't told about it, that means it didn't happen. But years later, because Amber decided to tell Christina Sexton all about this thing that apparently happened to her in Australia, that we believe. Now, the thing is, yeah, it took her years, and yeah, it took her a little bit of time to open up. I'm just wondering if she's like, I need to ramp this up every time I tell the story. I need to make this the most impactful thing ever, because she's trying to protect the fact that she chopped off Johnny's finger. Granted, it was an accident, but she did that. So she's trying to move herself more into the victim stage. And well, she hurt Johnny with a bottle, so why not Johnny hurt her with a bottle? And honestly, Miss Sexton is the most unreliable witness on the planet, because she was the one who told the court that during a birthday incident of April of 2016, that Johnny Depp was upstairs just having a tantrum, that he didn't want to come downstairs for her birthday party. Meanwhile, he was at a meeting with his accountants trying to sort out where $600 million went. So why are we believing Miss Sexton? I have no fucking clue. Let's move on to the Bahamas. Okay, Ms. Heard's fifth witness statement had a confidential annex, which I have considered. However, for the reasons which I have given in the main judgment, since this incident was not pleaded by either party, it is neither necessary nor proportionate for me to reach decisions on it. I have also said in the main judgment that my views would have remained the same even if the incident had been taken into account. In saying that, I have also had regard to the confidential annex to Ms. Heard's fifth statement. Okay, and here is their response to the judgment. Confidential annex dated March 25th, 2021. The allegation to which this complaint alleges that during Incident 8, Mr. Depp forced a bottle into Ms. Heard. The allegation was not included in the original defense and was included in an amended defense only in June of 2019, which is over 4 years after the assault is said to have occurred. In addition, Ms. Heard's own evidence about the assault, NGN also adduced evidence from Ms. Sexton, a friend who had previously worked for as an acting coach and to whom she recounted sometime in 2019 what she said had happened. Ms. Sexton said that she believed the allegations to be true when Ms. Heard related to them. She was crying. She was speaking in chopped sentences. The judge's reasons for accepting the allegation are given at para 17 of the annex. He had already found that Mr. Depp was wholly out of control during the incident, but he attached particular weight to the fact that a major part of the cause of his anger with Ms. Heard was his belief that she had recently had an affair with another actor, Billy Bob Thornton. Mr. Thornton's name was among the graffiti he had drawn on one of the mirrors in the house. There was also evidence in the main part of the judgment that he had drawn a penis on a photograph of Ms. Heard over her private parts. The judge regarded the sexual character of Mr. Depp's rage as making the alleged assault plausible. Mr. Caldecott had 2 points about this finding. First, he argued that there was a fundamental inconsistency between the way in which the judge had approached this allegation and his approach to the other allegation, which was the subject of the confidential annex. Namely, that Mr. Depp had performed a cavity search on Ms. Heard in the course of Incident 3. That evidence, too, had emerged late. It was not pleaded until the re-amended defense in March of 2020, almost 6 years after the event in question. The judge found that it had not been proved that the assault occurred. At para 7, he gave 3 reasons: that it was not pleaded until a very late stage, that he found it hard to believe Ms. Heard's evidence that she had not at first appreciated that what she said had happened amounted to SA, and that she had not described the assault to Ms. Sexton. Mr. Caldecott submitted that if the judge did not find that the burden of proof was discharged in relation to that incident, it was inconsistent of him to not come to the same conclusion as regards to the alleged assault as part of Incident 8. We do not believe that there is any respect that this court would accept that criticism. The case also regards the later alleged assault was clearly stronger. The motive for SA, as explained at 2 above, was clearer. Ms. Heard had complained about it to a confidant when she had not done so as regards to the earlier alleged assault. It was pleaded sooner. though this is perhaps a variant of the same point, and the distance of time between the alleged event and the pleading was much shorter, which were plainly reasonable grounds for researching different conclusions as being between the two allegations. Second, Mr. Caldecott submits that the judge had, in reaching his conclusion, applied particular weight to the conversation with Miss Sexton, which was plainly wrong because the fact that she believed what Miss Heard told her was irrelevant and inadmissible, but there is no reason to suppose that the judge attached particular weight to the fact that Miss Sexton believed Miss Heard's complaint. Although he rejected her evidence to that effect in para 16, he says nothing about it in para 17, where he gives the reasons for accepting Miss Heard's evidence. Okay, so like I said, Christina Sexton, not a great witness. She had no clue what was going on. She was not privy to all the different story changing because she thought, you know, as I said, for birthday incident, she thought Johnny was there, just didn't want to come downstairs. He wasn't even in that building. Anyway, so I don't know why Justice Nicol put so much weight on her. I have a theory behind why Amber put so much emphasis on her, but that'll come. So, because Christina was there and didn't hear anything and Amber didn't tell her anything about Hicksville, it didn't happen. But because Amber decided to tell Christina about Australia, years later, and she built up to the whole bottle thing, then it's believable. And then he added in his own things too. Well, if he drew, you know, a willy on her picture, then of course he's gonna, of course. So if you've ever done that, you know what? You were just on your road to SA. If you're a drug user, automatically an abuser. This man did so much damage. And I don't know if he clearly wasn't worried about telling a woman that she's lying about something like this, but I'm just wondering if something so severe, like the picture she painted around Australia incident with the bottle, I'm just wondering if he's like, well, if I say this is a lie, and she told someone, it was late. She told, you know, she brought up this thing in Hicksville late, so it's not true. She didn't tell Christina, so it's not true. But because she did tell Christina, and because it's late, I understand that she didn't want to bring it up. I understand all that. It just doesn't make any sense. How, like, if you read the two, you're like, well, fuck, I don't know what's going on. Why is one story okay? Because it was brought up late, and she told someone, conveniently told someone, yet when it comes to Hicksville, she didn't tell anyone and no one heard anything, so it just didn't happen. Unbelievable. But here's my theory. My theory of why Amber told Christina, because let's be honest, she didn't tell Rocky, she didn't tell Io, she didn't tell Josh, she didn't tell anyone actually close to her. She didn't tell her best friends anything. But she told Christina, because I'm thinking, because Christina's an acting coach, she's like, if Christina believes me, the world will believe me. It's my theory. What's yours? So silly. It is just so silly that the UK trial they got away with it. And Justice Nicol got away with it. Sun got away with it. Amber got away with it. It's just like, silly isn't even like, it's a flippant word, and it's fucking downright stupid that this was allowed to go, because this just opened the door for so many people to say, okay, well, we have two conflicting judgments here on kind of the same thing. It swings open the door for false allegations to be believed. All you have to do is follow the formula that Amber followed when it comes to Australia incident. That's all you have to do, and you are naturally believed. Probably a good thing he's retired. Also very interested to see if they'll ever actually do anything about this. Probably not. Such an injustice. Anyway, that's it. That's all. Have a wonderful day, guys. Be so, so kind to yourselves, and just know that I appreciate you. I'm sending you so much love, and I will definitely see you guys next time.